Hey guys, just thought I would make a vlog today. Uh, and it's kind of one of those like question things. You ever have those moments where you'll think, what if I did this instead of this? I actually had one of those moments today. If you hear music in the background, I've got Linkin Park. But anyway, so I'm sitting here doing dishes, and WoW's not on, obviously, because they're doing an extended uh, maintenance, and there's not really much to do. So I started, well, except for like housework. But anyway, so I started doing, and if I keep looking down and looking at my screen, hold on a second, let me turn the visualizations off. Okay, so I don't get distracted. And I'm sitting there doing dishes and cleaning up a little, and I'm sitting here listening to Linkin Park, and, not saying that they're to blame or anything, but, their lyrics, kind of, sometimes they get you thinking. And I've had these questions like, what if I decide to live with my dad instead of my mom? Would I have ever gotten to meet all the people that I have met? Would I have ended up with Zach? I don't think so, but you never know. What if here's the thing. What if I chose to live with my dad instead of my mom? What if I didn't do those things to Zach that I have that I regret? What if, I don't know, I have a lot of questions going on in my head. What if I moved out when I was 18 and had my own life and everything? What if I went to college? Where would I go? What would I major in? What if, what if I married someone else? What if I actually went back to, or what if I would have stayed with one of my exes that I've known for a long time? I mean, he still has a crush, kind of. Well, I think it's a crush. But, what if I would have still stuck with him instead of just throwing a fit and saying I never wanted to talk to him again at the time, but never getting back together with him? What if I missed out on doing a lot of things, like opportunities and stuff? Case in point, like I said, the whole college thing, or getting to work for a different company, what if I had the chance to move to a different state, what if I never met Zach? I personally, for that one, if I never met him, I probably wouldn't have gotten to play WoW, because, when I was younger, I was never into that hack and slash, Diablo, StarCraft, Warcraft type stuff. So part of me doesn't think that I would actually start playing, but who knows, because of the fact that, friends do influence you also, And even when I did start playing, what if I never did start playing? What if I continued to hate the game like I did before I started to play? I never would have met all of these people that I'm friends with. It just makes me, I think we all get to where we have those questions where it's like, what if this happened? What if that happened? And I went to take the trash out because I had a bag of potatoes that were rotten, and I just threw them in the trash. And then I went to go throw something else in the trash, and I'm like, oh, that's disgusting. I'm pretty sure most of you know what rotten potatoes smell like. It stinks. Anyway, so, point being, I went to take the trash out, and it's a clear night out. The moon's out, everything, it's clear, you can see everything, and it got me thinking about a lot of things, you know, and it's not just what if I did this, you know, like not stuff in the past. It's like what would happen if I did do this? What would happen if I did that? You know, if I do this, what will happen? Kind of, you know. And it just, you know, makes me wonder. There's a lot of stuff that I think about. And I guess some people just wouldn't, well, I don't think we would all understand everybody else's story. So, you know, here's another one. What if I never read those emails that Zach had sent her? You know, would we still be how we were before? You know, what if I never found out he was still talking to her? I probably would still be thinking that he was not talking to her, and he probably still would be talking to her behind my back. You know, it's just so many questions. I don't know. It just makes me think a lot of things. What if I never came on YouTube and started posting vlogs? Or what if I never found my brothers through MySpace? You know? Anyway, I think I'm going to get going. I need to finish my dishes and a few clothes and stuff. So, I don't know. Not really a vlog to really have much to talk about. It's just kind of one of those things where it's like, what would happen if this happened? You know? What would you... Actually, I got a question for you guys. Pretty much, if there's something that you can change about your life, your past life, say if you can go back in time or something, and you could stop yourself from doing a mistake that, you know, you're about to do, that you know what would happen if you did it. If you went back in time right before you did it, or something, what would you tell yourself to make yourself believe, one, that it was really you, and then also really what would happen to you if you did it, you know? How would you explain it to yourself? I know that sounds weird, but anyway, or, you know, if there was anything in the past you could change, good or bad, you know, what would it be? I mean, what would you do? There's a lot of things that I would change if it was me. But also have to understand that if you changed the past, if you went back in time and told yourself, hey, don't do that because this is going to happen, you have to understand too that your whole life would change. Everything. So like if I actually never did all that bullshit I did when Zach was out for 3 months, none of this shit would have happened. I mean, we still would have had a somewhat good relationship. I mean, not saying that we don't now, but a lot of things wouldn't have been in a mess. So, I don't know. I guess just what is it that you guys would take back if you could? Or what would you change about yourself, you know, in the past? If there's anything you can take back or change, what would it be? But anyway, I'm going to go. I guess that's why it's called destiny. And you make your own destiny. You just don't know. You have to kind of take a chance and take a gamble on your decisions. talk to y'all later.